Hello my friends, and welcome to Paulina Art. Today I'm going to be painting this pretty spring wreath with some nice spring flowers, some pansies, some daisies, and lots of pretty leaves. I'm going to show you step by step how to create this painting. If you would like to see how I painted this spring wreath, stay with me and let's paint together. Today I'm going to be painting with my Mont Marte acrylic paint set. This has 24 tubes of acrylic paint, and I know many of you have this paint set. I'm also going to link on the description box below the review I did for this acrylic paints. The colors that I'm using today are titanium white, cerulean blue, purple, magenta, vermilion, yellow deep, Taylor green, monastral green, and burnt umber. Of course, you can use whatever colors you have at home. Today, I'm painting on 9 by 12 watercolor paper. This is 140-pound watercolor paper, and the paper is very thick, and it also has a nice surface. It's a great option if you like to practice and paint a lot. It is similar to painting on canvas, and this is the perfect size when I record tutorials. I can get very close with the camera and you can see everything I'm painting. I already applied the background color. For the background, put about that much of white gesso, and then I applied a few drops of cerulean blue, and I mixed this with a brush and applied a coat of paint onto my background. Now that the paint is dry, I'm going to go ahead and sketch my flower wreath. I'm going to draw a line in the center approximately, and I'm going to draw another line in the middle. So this gives me 4 quadrants of the same size. I'm going to draw a circle in the center, and my circle going to go at about there. So I'm going to measure, that's about 3 inches from the center, and I'm going to make some dots in here so I can draw my circle. And my circle is going to be something like that. If you want the circle perfectly round, you can use a plate or a more precise tool, but I just want to make sure mine is approximately in the center. 2. My circle is pretty much in the center. I have the same distance from the sides to the circle and at the top to the circle, and this circle is going to be my wreath. It doesn't matter if it's not a perfect circle, because there's going to be lots of flowers and leaves and things like that. And flower wreaths are not necessarily perfectly rounded. With a round brush, I'm going to pick up burnt umber. This is a dark, rich brown color. I'm going to go ahead and paint the edge of the wreath. And I'm going to do lines like this. It's almost like a line that turns inside. Something like that, just to create a bit of movement. I'm now going to use a small liner brush, and I'm going to pick up the brown with a drop of white and a drop of yellow to create this lighter tan color. And with this, I'm going to draw some fine lines following the same. This creating the illusion of branches, creating the structure of the wreath made out of branches. You can even make some coming in, the effect of some branches coming in and out too. This is going to be a rustic floral wreath. I'm now going to be using this sponge. It is very porous. I purchased this one at Michael's and it is damped. I rinse it and squeeze the water out. And with the sponge, I'm going to pick up some phthalo green, remove the excess, and I'm going to dab this around the wreath, creating the effect of leaves. I like this because it's very quick. If you don't have a sponge like this one, you can dab with your round brush. I now have monastral green. This is a lighter, brighter green, and I'm going to apply some of this just to add more dimension to the leaves. I'm going to allow this to dry for a few minutes. I'm going to start positioning the flowers. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to add pansies and daisies. So I'm going to draw a line up here and a triangle. I'm drawing a triangle in the center of the wreath, and I'm going to place my pansies in the corners of the triangle. And the shape is going to be round. I can draw another one in here. And I can also draw small ones. Maybe there can be a small one in here, like that. Pansies have large leaves, so let's draw some leaves. We can do one in the corner here and one here, and here we can do one coming towards the center and maybe one in here, and on the bottom we can have leaves coming here. The leaves of the pansies are large. All right, and we can have some daisies. My daisies are going to be oval, so I'm going to do an oval here and the center, and I can do another oval in here with the center. I can do another one up here. And I'm going to draw a small leaf here of this pansy. Okay, so I'm going to give you a close-up. I have a couple of daisies up there, and I have 3 pansies on my triangle. We can add more flowers later, but let's start with these ones. Let's start by doing the center of the daisies. I'm picking up some yellow with a Q-tip, and I'm going to dab the centers. These are oval shape as well. We're going to let the centers dry. Let's do this pansy. For the pansies, I'm going to be using a small flat brush, and I choose this brush because when I press it in the flower, I can see that it's the right size that is going to help me create the petals of the pansy. I'm also going to be using Folk Art Floating Medium. This is going to help the acrylic paint blend. I'm going to pick up Floating Medium and apply it to the bristles and remove the excess. I'm going to pick up white on one corner and magenta on the other. And I'm going to blend, keeping the colors on the same side of the brush. And I'm also going to pick up a little bit of yellow on the side that I have the white. And I'm going to do the back petal of the pansy. I look at the flower and I decide the center is going to be right in there. And I'm going to do a large petal that is going to be about a quarter of the circle. So I'm going to press with the yellow towards the center. And I'm going to start creating this nice large back petal, like a seashell shape. Okay, I'm now going to do 2 large petals on each side, and I'm going to use the colors the same way. I'm going to press my brush, covering part of this large petal. And I'm going to do another one on this side, another large petal that's going to take this side. So I have 3 large petals, and I'm going to do the bottom petal, and the bottom petal it's almost like 2 in 1 petal. It comes down and up a little bit and then down again. And to create this bottom one, I'm using the colors the opposite way. I want the magenta at the center, and I'm going to do the first of the 2 petals that are together. Okay, and I'm going to do the second one with the colors the same way, the magenta towards the center. And there's my first pretty pansy. Okay, let's do the next one. For the next pansy, I have purple on one side and white and yellow on the other. My brush is loaded the same way, but with purple instead of magenta. And I'm going to decide where the center is, and it's right there. And I'm going to do the large back petal with the yellow towards the center. This petal takes about a quarter of the flower. So I'm going to press my brush and wiggle, creating this nice back petal. There's normally 2 back petals, but to keep it simple, I did just 1. And I'm going to do a large side petal in here. And another one on this side. Going to press the brush in the center. And I'm going to start creating this side petal. Okay? These two large petals, I'm going to use the colors the opposite way. I'm going to bring the purple towards the center, and I'm going to create the first of the large bottom petals. And the last one. And there's my second pansy, and there's the bottom pansy. And my brush is loaded the same way, with purple in one side and yellow and white on the other. This time I'm going to do the purple in the center. This is the center of the flower right there. And I'm going to do the purple in the center and the white towards the outer part. And I'm going to do again the large back petal. And I'm going to make the large side petal. And the other side petal. And I'm pressing my brush in the center and going up and down, and coming back to the center. And now I'm going to do the large two bottom petals. I'm now pressing the yellow towards the inside. And I'm going to press the brush and come down and do this wiggle motion, and I'm going to come up. And the last of these two large petals that are on top of all the other petals. Okay, my three pansies are done. Let's do this small pansy. Actually, I'm going to add another small pansy. This one is going up, this one is going to be coming down here. Just like an oval shape. And I'm going to do a leaf here. These ones are not open yet. I'm just going to add some petals, the magenta at the top, and I'm going to do a petal coming down. I think it needed a little more white, so I can go over it. And I'm going to do the same again, adding another petal coming on top like this. I'm going to do this one with the purple combination. And this one is coming up. So I'm going to press the purple towards the center and do a petal in here. These are opening up. They're more like buds, and I'm going to add another one. Okay, while the pansy is dry, let's finish the daisies. For the daisies, I'm going to use a round brush, and I'm going to pick up white. I'm covering the brush with white. And I'm going to pick up just on the tip of the brush vermilion. Vermilion is a bright dark orange. And I'm dabbing here to remove the excess. And I'm going to start doing the petals of the daisies. And I'm going to follow this oval, and I'm going to press the brush and come to a point as I'm coming towards the center. Pressing and coming to a point. And I'm following the shape I did. And the petals always come to the center. Let's do this one. The petals on this side are going to be a little bit smaller than this side. This will create the effect that the flower is hanging in towards the center. So I'm going to press and lift as I come to the center. And I'm going to do this one. And with the Q-tip, I'm going to add more yellow to the center of the flowers just to make them nice and vibrant. I'm also going to add a yellow center on each one of the pansies. I now have vermilion on the Q-tip, and I'm going to add some of this color on this side of the center of the flower, just to give the flower more depth and more color. Halfway around the oval. And with white on the Q-tip, I'm going to add some highlight at the top. I'm just dabbing the Q-tip to create the effect of the center of the flower. Okay, while the flowers dry, let's paint some of these large leaves from the pansies. And I'm going to use the same flat brush I used for the pansies. I'm picking up some floating medium, removing the excess. I'm going to pick up Taylor green on one side of the brush and white on the other. And I'm going to blend these two colors on the brush as I normally do. And I'm going to add a drop of yellow with the white. I'm going to press the yellow towards the inside of the leaf and the green towards the outside. And I'm going to follow what I have sketched here with chalk. I'm going to press the brush and I'm going to start creating the leaf, and I'm moving my brush in the same way I did to create the petals, and I'm coming to a point here. And for the other side of the leaf, I'm going to use the colors the opposite way. I'm going to press the green towards the center and the yellow towards the outer part of the leaf. And I'm going to press the brush and start creating this side of the leaf. And I'm coming to the point of the brush here towards the end of the leaf. I can twist it if I want the leaf to be turning a bit. And I'm going to draw with the chisel of the brush the center of the leaf. Let's do another one. Let's do this one. I'm going to press the yellow towards the center. And I'm following the drawing that I did. And I'm coming to the point now. And I'm going to move my surface. It's just easier for me this way. And I'm going to do it the opposite now. I'm going to press the green towards the center and the light towards the outside. And I'm moving in and out like this, creating the shape of the leaf. With the chisel of the brush, the green color, I'm going to draw the line in here. Let's paint the bottom here and the stem. And I'm going to paint some sepals in here holding the flower. Just going to do them like that, not as long as when we paint roses, just like that. For these smaller leaves, I'm just going to press the brush and come to the chisel like that, just creating a small leaf. And I can do the center like that, and the same in here. Okay, I'm going to paint the other leaves off camera, otherwise this video is going to be very long, but it's going to be the same way as I've done the other ones. Okay, the large pansy leaves are done. I'm going to paint some smaller leaves for the daisies, and with the flat brush I'm going to pick up the monastral green. It's a lighter green, and I'm going to paint some smaller leaves just by pressing the brush and wiggling a little bit like this. Just some small green branches. I'm going to add some leaves in here. Okay, the painting is just about done, but I feel like adding some very small little daisies, little flowers. So I'm going to pick up the yellow and some vermilion to create a lighter orange like this. And I'm going to add dots where I want the little flowers to go. I'm going to have 3 here, maybe 3 in here, some in here. And with a small round brush, I'm going to pick up white. And I'm going to create the petals around the center just by pressing. And going towards the center. Just very loose little white flowers. Make the painting more fun, more floral. And they're always going, these petals, towards the center. And with the same brush and the white color, I'm going to add a V in the center of the pansies, like an inverted V like this. And with a small liner brush, you can emphasize the center of the pansies a little bit more. I have magenta here, which is the color in here, and I can emphasize this a little bit more, adding some lines. Following the shape of the petal. The spring wreath is almost ready. I feel like I want to add more branches just to make it look a little bit more rustic. So I'm going to pick up some burnt umber on my liner brush. I'm going to add a few more branches or emphasize the ones that I did. Just want to keep the rustic feel to the wreath. And I'm basically letting my brush guide me where I want the branches. And on my flat brush, I'm mixing some yellow with phthalo green and a drop of white. I want to create a light green like this. And I'm going to add the odd lighter leaf in here. This gives the painting lots of dimension with the different shades of green. Lots of foliage. Once the paint is dry, I'm going to go over with a dry brush and brush away all these chalk marks that I don't need anymore. Okay, my friends, the painting is just about done. I splattered some magenta around the wreath. I'm going to give you a close-up. I find these splatters of paint really add to the painting. It makes it look more fun and painterly. Now, I'm going to do one last thing that I think the painting is asking me for, and I'm going to add some shadow around here and on this side, as if the wreath is casting some shadow. With a round brush, I'm going to pick up some cerulean blue and some brown. And I'm going to add just a bit of water so it's not very thick. And I'm going to start adding a little bit of shadow in here. It's just going to be in this area. I can blend it with a clean damp brush. And I'm going to add the same shadow on this side of the wreath. And it's just a very subtle effect. And I can add some shadow from the branches and the leaves. This just gives the painting more, makes it stand out more. And again, I'm going to blend with a clean brush, just the edges. Okay, my friends, the spring wreath painting is done. I really like how the shadows added just a little bit more to the painting. I hope you enjoy this video as much as I enjoy doing this painting. I hope you learned something new. If you like this video, please give it a like, comment below, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any future content from me. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.